This is Tech Pulse.
Coming up today
Show that
on
keeps you
Tech
in step
Pulse,
with the technological
Moto X
world,
to feature a clear
one step
pixel
ahead
camera
of everybody
with
else.
gesture
I'm
control,
your host,
gesture
Martin
control,
Smith,
Garmin HUD, that's the heads-up
show.
display for smartphones, has a navigation launcher on your windshield, and BBC to put 3D on hold. All this and more coming up today on Tech Pulse. All right, this is Tech Pulse for July 8th, 2013. Man, the year's just going by quick. It's already July, and it's already the 8th of July, but hey, that's what we're doing, and this is the show where you get all your news and reviews dealing with technology, starting with the top stories of the day. So we're going to jump right into it. We're talking about the BBC. Now, for many of you who watch TV, you know BBC is the British Broadcasting Corporation. That's the, it shows where you get Doctor Who, you get Primeval, you get BBC News, you get all of these European or English type shows, which is pretty good. And they're saying that according to a report by BBC UK, their newspaper, they're saying that look, 3D. They've tried to they've made some runs with 3D, and they're saying that look, 3D is no longer going to be something that they're focusing on right now. So let me tell you about this report that BBC themselves came out with dealing with 3D. I mean, because that 3D has been this I don't want to say gimmick, but it's been this technology that we have had for a while now. And BBC 3D programming, according to the network, is going to be on hold indefinitely. Now, Kim Schillinglaw, the BBC's head of 3D, said it is not taken off with audiences who find it quite hassly. She's saying the BBC began a 2-year 3D trial in 2011 and broadcasting several shows and events in 3D, including the Olympics, when the Olympics was in London just a little while ago, and Olympic Games and Strictly Come Dancing. That's another show they have. The Doctor Who anniversary special in November will be among the final shows that are going to be televised in 3D as a part of the trial. But half of the estimated 1.5 million households in the UK with a 3D-enabled television set watch the Summer Olympics in 3D. They said only 1.5 million households, half of them only watch. So you're talking, what, 750,000 or something like that households that watch the Summer Olympics in 3D. Now, the BBC said 3D viewing figures for Queen's Christmas Message and the children's drama Mr. Stink even more disappointing, with just 5% of potential viewers turning in over the Christmas time. So they're saying that right now, in an interview with the Radio Times, Schillinglaw said, I have never seen a very big appetite for 3D television in the UK. I think when people watch TV, they concentrate in a different way. When people go to the cinema, they go and are used to doing one thing. And I think that's one of the reasons that 3D TV has been very disappointing. So, I mean, right off the bat, you see that 3D technology is not taking off in the UK, at least. And, I mean, what does this mean for 3D? I mean, 3D was already basically dead here in the US. 3D was basically, when I say dead, I mean some sets still come with 3D, but most people are not, they're not feeling 3D like the companies thought that it was going to be, because, as I said before on Tech Pulse, those of you who have watched, you know that 3D is just, how do I put it? When they say hassly, the reason why it's hassly is because you have to sit directly in front of your television set in order to see a 3D image. I mean, it's just not that good. And if people, I mean, if you're going to broadcast, as a matter of fact, many of the many cable companies and satellite companies here have dramatically decreased their 3D channels as well, because one, if a program is not shot This is another thing. If a program is not shot in 3D, and that's why movies, when you see it comes out, big blockbuster movies, and then they say they're going to put it in 3D as well. If the movie isn't natively shot in 3D, the 3D effects are terrible because they now have to add this third dimension to the movie, and that's very difficult to do so that it looks really good. So movies that aren't shot in 3D generally don't translate well in 3D when it comes out on Blu-ray. And I have a couple of those movies that just it wasn't shot in 3D, so when you see it, there's no real 3D effects to the movie. And so and then the 2D to 3D conversion, that's basically, it really is unseeable. When you're watching it, it doesn't look like anything different is going on. It doesn't really look like it has depth. So 3D technology as it is definitely is going down. And so the UK is really just following suit as to what's happening in general when it comes to 3D programming. And what people can do, or what companies can do, is what Samsung is doing with their 3D curved OLED sets. They're using the 3D technology to allow people to watch two different channels at the same time on one set. Now that's where I think the 3D technology is going to flourish in stuff like that, especially in video games. Because before, when you play video games on a TV, if you wanted to play multiplayer, you had a split screen. If it was 4 of you, then you had a quarter of a screen. There's like a big cross is on the screen, and each person have to look at their square. No more of that. You know what I'm saying? With the 3D technology, everyone can see full screen while playing the same game. Matter of fact, the Sony 3D panel that came out a while back, many of you don't know about it because that panel was a flop for Sony. Sony made some good stuff, but I have the panel at the house, and you can play, 2 people can play the same game while watching the full screen TV. Because they're using the 3D technology to send one picture to one pair of glasses and another picture to another pair of glasses, and it works easier that way. And that's what I see the 3D technology coming. Nobody is really wanting to watch. People don't mind watching Doctor Who or shows in 3D if it wasn't for the fact that if I'm doing single viewing situations, fine. But if I have family and friends over, it just doesn't work. The 3D technology just doesn't work the way that you think it's going to work. So I can understand why BBC is saying, you know what, this is just not working for us. So we're going to pull the plug. We're going to pull the plug. And they're saying on hold for now, but that's TV code for it's over. It's dead, done, finished. So 3D TV had its time. I don't think it's going to die away. I think that it's going to be a feature in TV, just like you have certain features in the TV and stuff like that you may or may not use. I think it's going to be a feature, but I don't think it's going to go away as far as people never, you don't have 3D as an option on your TV. I think people will keep it, but it will just be an option in the background, not anything that you're going to do on a daily basis or watch TV, and because it's just too cumbersome. Nobody wants to put on glasses to watch TV and stuff like that. When you come home, you want to relax. You want to chill. You want to be able to lay down on your sofa. You want to be able to you don't want to sit and have to sit, upright. And the minute you move your head, 2 images, so you don't want that. And that's what they mean when they say happily. So I 100% agree with the fact that this is just not something that is plausible right now. And speaking of something that is plausible, is the Garmin heads-up display for smartphones. Now this thing definitely, to me, when I first saw this, the display, the Garmin display, it really has something that, especially people like Devin here in the studio, this guy does, a lot of driving, a lot of traveling, and anything. And the thing is, when this guy is driving, always, looking down at his phone, going 100 miles an hour on the freeway. The guy is blasting down the street, boom, and then he's checking his phone, and I'm sitting in the car, and I'm like, man, is this guy gonna wreck? So Garmin thought of people like Devin. Yes. And they said, you know what? Let me keep his eyes on the road. Let me keep his eyes right there. So the Garmin HUD project directions, it puts the information on your windshield. Right on your windshield, and it's see-through, so it's not blocking you like when it's on your windshield now. All of a sudden, you have this display in front of you, can't see the road. No, this thing is translucent, so you can see the road, you can see the directions, you can see where you're going right on the windshield. So there's no need to take your eyes off of the road. And Devin is like, yes, this could be what he's been looking for his whole life. I mean, right off the bat, without even getting into this story. I mean, Xavier, do you think that this is something that motorists today, do you think this is something motorists today really can use? Because GPS, everyone uses it, whether it's on your phone or whatnot. And Garmin come up with an app, so it's on your phone, but it puts the display on your windshield. Instead of you having to look at the GPS, take your eyes off the road and stuff like that, look at your phone. Do you think this is something that is going to take? Is this something that people are going to flock to, or this is just another gimmick? It's going to die away?
I think people are going to flock to it.
Why?
Because it's easier. Instead of looking down in your phone, you can crash or something. You just look up at your windshield. You can still see the road, but it's more convenient for you.
More convenient. So keeping your eyes on the road, and they're saying elevating navigation data into the driver's line of sight. Garmin's first ever heads-up display aims to reduce distraction while still looking pretty cool. That's what they're saying. Now, smartphones have been around for a while and have taken over as the default navigation tool for many drivers, because they used to have the standalone GPS units. And then people started having GPS on their phones, and so many people kind of abandoned the standalone GPS unit in favor of their phones, and so smartphones have pretty much taken over as the default navigation tool. Now we're coming up on a break, but right now, when we come back, we're going to continue talking about this Garmin heads-up display unit that displays, and we're going to show you a picture of it too, so you see exactly how this unit looks, how it operates, and what you can expect when you have this thing in your car. Because I'm telling you, it gives you the right amount of information. It shows you the directions, like how much you have to the next turn, and it shows you whether you're going to turn left or right. So all that information is right there in front of you as you're looking at the road, and not as you have to look down, or you have to look away from the GPS, or you have to have a second driver or something like that. We're going to talk about this because we know now that phones really have replaced standalone GPS units as far as navigation. So what will people use in the future? How will this thing go? You're going to hear more about that as we go on this Monday edition of Tech Pulse. So just stay tuned right there. We will be back.